G'day, welcome to Todd's Kitchen. Brownies are one of those all-time recipes that everyone loves. But the problem is, they're not very healthy for you too. Actually, they're incredibly unhealthy. But this is an incredibly different version. Still tastes absolutely delicious, but also very healthy too. It's super easy and it's keto friendly. But of course, don't forget, everything in moderation. So you can still have a few slices guilt-free. So join me today as I make my version of keto brownies. Okay, so to start this off, we're going to melt some butter and chocolate. So first of all, into a microwave safe dish or bowl, I'm going to place in half a cup of butter. And because this is a keto version, we will really want to use a dark chocolate. The lighter chocolates, like milk chocolate for example, they really are jam-packed full of sugar. But the darker the chocolate, the better. Now you've got two options. You can go like say 70 plus, give or take. I just happen to have these ones here. Like I bought this 99% one because I was curious what it was like. Trust me, it's not good by itself, but it's great in desserts. But for keto desserts, 90% is my go-to chocolate. So I'm going to use 60 grams or about 2 ounces of my 90% dark chocolate. But again, you don't have to go 90%, you can choose say 70% and up. And that'll help you stay in the keto type version of this recipe. So I'm just going to break up our chocolate into smaller pieces. And we're just going to place this into the microwave, and we're going to microwave it on high for 30 seconds at a time. Give it a good stir with a teaspoon every 30 seconds until it's completely melted and well combined. Okay, so next I've got a bowl. Now, you can use a hand mixer or a stand mixer for this, so honestly it's completely up to you. Whichever you have, you can even use a hand whisk. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour in our melted butter and chocolate. And once it's melted, make sure it's not hot, because we're about to add some eggs to this and we don't want the eggs to scramble. And then to that, I'm going to add about 1.5 tablespoons of natural stevia. So stevia is pretty strong, so you don't want to use too much, otherwise it sort of leaves a bit of an aftertaste if you use too much. So about 1.5 tablespoons is more than enough for this recipe. I wouldn't do any more than that. So next I'm going to use some vanilla bean paste. Now you can use the extract if you like, it's completely up to you. But I find with the paste, you use a lot less, which means there's a lot less carbs and sugar. It's already very low in sugar anyway, but you only need a very small amount, so it's not going to affect the keto part of this recipe. So just add just a dab of it. That's more than enough. So about half a teaspoon worth. I wouldn't go any more than that. Next I'm going to add 2 eggs. Now these eggs have been sitting at room temperature for about an hour or so. And then we're going to add half a teaspoon of baking powder. And we're simply going to give it a good whisk for about 30 seconds, just until everything is combined and that stevia and baking powder is dissolved. Okay, and everything is completely combined. Now again, you can use a hand whisk, meaning you can do it by hand, or you can use one of those electric hand whisks. Okay, so if it wasn't chocolatey enough, for our final 2 ingredients, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of cocoa powder, unsweetened of course. And if you're wondering how we're going to keep it completely keto friendly with flour, well, I'm going to use almond flour. Works just like normal flour with all the extra ingredients, except there's no carbs. And when I say no carbs, I mean it's the lowest possible carb flour that you can get. It's only 5.9 grams per serve, and this is a very big bag, so you're going to get quite a bit out of that for such a low carb rating. As opposed to flour, which is like 60-70% carbs, depending on the flour that you get. And the best bit is, I'm only using half a cup's worth. That's honestly all you need. So it's probably about 6 or 7 grams of carbs in this entire recipe. So you could eat the whole thing yourself and not have to worry about the carbs anyway. Of course, I still wouldn't recommend it because calories do add up, of course. So not just with a keto diet, as in you still want to watch your calories, but there is still too much of a good thing. Okay, so the best way to do this is we don't want to over mix it, because if we over mix this, we're going to get like a cakey consistency once it's cooked. When we want it, we don't want it dry, but we don't want it too wet as well. So the best part about this is you mix it for just a few seconds, just so everything is just combined. And as soon as it's just combined, stop it straight away and it's done. And that's it. It is that simple. Okay, so lastly, I've just got a baking pan here and I've lined it with some non-stick parchment paper, and I've also given that a quick grease as well, just to be on the safe side. So just going to place our mix into our pan and just even it out. Okay, so we're going to place this into a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes. And if you're not sure if it's ready, just put a skewer in the middle. If it comes out slightly moist, but more on the dry side, then it's ready. But it comes out very wet, well, give it another couple of minutes. Especially if you don't have a fan forced oven, I'd give it an extra 2 minutes just to be on the safe side. Okay, so it's been cooking away for 20 minutes. So I've just got a wooden skewer here. I'm just going to stick it in the center and see how it comes out nice and clean. It's ready. Now don't worry about all this oily residue. That's actually just from the oil that I've sprayed on the outside, which prevents it from sticking, so don't worry if you see that. But as long as you put the skewer in, comes out clean, it's ready. Okay, so we're going to take this out of the oven and we're going to let it cool down at room temperature for about half an hour. After half an hour, place it in the fridge for a further 2 hours to give it a chance to completely set. Okay, so they're out of the fridge. I've sliced them up and don't they look absolutely delicious? Now they are easily one of the healthiest brownie recipes you're ever going to try. They're perfect if you're on a keto diet or just as a healthy version of a lovely brownie. So while they're pretty much guilt-free brownies, where they're keto friendly, diet friendly, just keep in mind you can have too much of a good thing. But you can definitely have an extra slice of these, no problem whatsoever. So if you're looking for a healthy treat, or if you're on a keto type diet, either way, these keto diet brownies are going to taste simply delish.